What's up, my fellow devs, and welcome back to the Dev Shop. So today we're going to take a look at the editor after we have created our project, or if you are using the starter game and the samples project. This is pretty much what you're going to be greeted with when you create a new level. So actually, we probably should go through that in case you don't know how to do that. If we go to File, New Level, we have a name slot, and it's going to be put in the folders called Levels. As you can see over here, inside of Project Meadow, I have a folder called Levels, and it's going to be put inside there. Once you create your name, you create your resolution. It's going to ask you for a texture map resolution, I believe it is. And once you do that, you have your terrain that looks similar to, if just not alike, this window here. So let's go over our editor real quick. We have our different tools. We have our movement tools, our rotation and scale. We have our select terrain. We have our game, which plays the game for us, which goes right to game mode. And that's going to pop up when you first run the game mode. We can say do not show again. Hit yes. We have a number of constraints for the X, Y, and Z axis. We have a number of options for snapping to grid. We have our follow terrain and snap to objects. We have things like go to select the object, unlock all, vertex snapping. Very useful tools for a toolbar. We also have different options here, which you can also see are part of our tools window. So this is your bread and butter. Anything that you can use inside of Lumberyard or that you enable through the gems section will be available in your tools window or your component window. So we have things like our animation editor, our Lua editor, material editor, which will also be here, your material editor here, your motion effects here. You have your time of day, I believe this one is. Oh, not the track view. Your time of day would be this one right here. And you have some other options here you guys will get accustomed with and that we'll be using over time. As you can see here, we have our entity outliner, which basically self-explanatory. It outlines all of our objects or entities in the world. Think of it like your hierarchy window inside of Unity. You have your asset browser, which shows all of your files that pertains to your project, all of your gems that you enabled for this project, and then of course your actual project folder for the created project here, which I don't have anything added, so it doesn't have anything. But as you can see, my levels are here, and I have world. And if I go open my levels, you will see world, the folder here. And of course, Lumberyard sees your project as a gem, so it creates a gem folder for you to add assets in case you wanted to package that up and send it to another user or what have you. Of course, over here you have your entity inspector, and this populates when you start adding different components. So we have our entity over here with that's defaulted. The transfer component is always comes with the entity, so you can't remove that or add it. It's always there. And then you have the environment probe, which you can add, which comes defaulted. And you can add different components here, which pretty much has a multitude of uses, obviously, that we'll be definitely diving into later. Another thing I wanted to talk about is something that's new in 1.18, which is layers, which is something I'm very fond of. So let's say we have a entity called NPC number 1. We have a entity called tree and an entity called player. And as you can see, even with these four, it can get pretty crowded very quickly. You can nest these inside of each other. So if I was to create another entity and called it NPC number 2, you can put number 2 under number 1 like that. But even that can still get you can get really crowded. So another way of doing that, which was added in 1.18, was layers. So create a layer. We can call this NPCs. And then you can put NPC 1 over here, and let's create another layer. And we can call this environment. We can put tree under here. Sorry. Come on. Really? There we go. Sorry. and so on and so forth. So as you can see, you can very much organize your outliner for your world very easily and very nicely. And because we put this in groups and in layers, you can now do things like locking all objects so they can't be touched or moved or accidentally clicked on and accidentally moved, or you can hide everyone from the world under that layer, so now you have more room to work with and things that you can focus on. So very cool, very many use cases, and we'll be definitely using them a lot throughout the series. Lastly, you have your game menu, which you can play game, enable physics, export the engine when you want to export the game, which we'll be going over actually pretty quickly here after a few videos. And then you have different options for AI, audio, terrain, and debugging. So this is a very important window as well. And if you go under edit and you see things like your editor settings, global preferences, you can see different things that you can play with, like, experimenting with the new UI, which I do not recommend. It will break your engine and you have to restart the whole thing. It's definitely not ready for use at all. But as you can see, it's very detailed and very thorough what you can do. We can play with different cameras, different views. We can have different layouts. And each one of these have their own camera to play around with. So, you can see the very use cases for this. Top left, we have it in perspective right now, but you can change this to do different things. So, yeah, the editor is very feature packed. Just want to show you guys the different things that you can do and, what you're going to see when you first get started. In the next video, we're probably going to jump right in to the good stuff. And we're going to be learning how to get characters into the engine, set up with animations, creating animation grabs, and then running those animations through code so that we can get our characters moving and things like that. So we're going to be jumping right in, getting you guys up and running for sure. I don't want to spend too much time on really beginner stuff. I have a lot of tutorials and videos on that kind of stuff. So yeah, hope you guys are looking forward to that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. If you guys have any suggestions on how I can improve my videos, because it's going to be a very long series, so I want to provide it in the right manner for you guys, let me know. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to support me in the channel, as always, you can look at my Patreon, my GUMROAD, and PayPal, and all that good stuff. All the links to that is in the description. Other than that, don't forget to join the Discord, and I hope you guys are prospering in your projects. Hope you guys are having a very dope day. And until next time, keep developing.